Hey everyone, and welcome to the Millennial Motivation Podcast with me, James Hackney. Let's get inspired and let's get motivated. James Hackney here, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Motivation Podcast, the podcast that is geared and tailored towards millennials, providing the inspiration and the motivation to get you jacked up and tackling today's biggest issues, the Generation Y. So I found a great article online from a lady who goes by the name of Amy Morin. And in this article, she talks about 5 ways to boost your self-confidence. And as a millennial, one thing that I see lacking from our community is that real authentic confidence. Anybody can fake it for a while, but it doesn't seem to be that true authentic confidence. You know, we all want to be self-confident because you having a healthy level of self-confidence can help you become successful in your personal and professional life. And that can be you working towards your goals, your dreams, and your purpose. So I want to talk through these with you now. Now, the first point is to stop comparing yourself to others. And we're all guilty of this. We all compare ourselves with different people at work, between friends, and you see people on Instagram and Facebook. And comparisons aren't healthy. And there was actually a study that was published in Personality and Individual Differences. And that study found a direct link between envy and the way that you feel about yourself. The researchers found that people who compared themselves to others experienced envy. And the more envy that they experienced, the worse that they actually felt about themselves. And it can be a vicious cycle that we can all get stuck in. And that makes me question, why do we compare ourselves to other people when you are so unique and completely different to anybody else on this planet? Why do we do it to ourselves? Now, after the second point is to take care of your body. And it's really hard to feel good about yourself if you're abusing your body and not taking care of it. And that could be the amount of alcohol that you drink, your eating habits, but also your sleep as well. And I agree with a study that was done and that shows that when people's body image improved, they felt more confident. Now, I'm sure you feel better when you look better, of course. But as well, and how do you feel once you have done some form of exercise? You feel good about yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to be a model, but man, I get this. And we all know that you are what you eat, that old cliche saying. And physical exercise does pay off by taking care of your body. And you know yourself, some form of exercise makes you feel better. It releases endorphins into your brain that makes you feel more happier and more better about yourself. The third point is kind of practicing self-compassion. So that's really a change in your thought process. Thinking everybody messes up sometimes, as opposed to, I'm so stupid, I ruined everything. That can help you feel good even if when you don't perform as well as you thought you would and as well as you hoped. And I think as the millennials, we are always extra critical of ourselves as well, because with all the extra pressure we have around us, we set ourselves such high standards that it can lead to us being extra critical. Give yourself some slack, laugh at yourself, it's okay, and remind yourself that nobody is perfect. And on a daily basis, you will give other people encouragement, you will give them positive words when they are giving themselves a hard time. But hey, what is wrong with giving it yourself? Give yourself some positive words, some words of encouragement. We then move on to self-doubt. And how many times do you really want something, like taking someone out you want on a date or going for a job interview, for you then only to put it off or find an excuse? And you will only do it in your mind once you feel confident, once you feel 100% confident. But what does 100% confidence feel like? And when have you ever felt 100% confident before? But sometimes the best way to gain confidence in them situations is by taking action. And when I was trying to raise money for cancer research for the trek to Peru, I wasn't confident at all before I signed up to raise £3,500. I had no idea how I would find £3,500. So week by week, I would put it off, even though it was something I would love to do and it was a dream to help to raise money for a great cause, I kept putting it off because I didn't believe and I doubted myself that I could find the way to raise £3,500 from scratch. And I took the leap, I took the jump, and once I'd signed up, I just knew I had to do it, and my confidence grew as I brainstormed ideas. You will find ways once you take that leap, past your self-doubt. I came up with loads of ideas just by facing my self-doubt. So by jumping in the deep end, you go into survival mode and you switch on so much more, and ideas will start to come to you, and the confidence will start to come by facing the fear of self-doubt and smashing it. Now the next point sounds very scientific. Perform behavioural experiments. Ooh, very scientific. So after a bit of research into this, what that means is when your brain tells you that you have no business speaking up in a meeting, or that you are too out of shape to work out, you've got to remind yourself that your thoughts aren't always accurate. You can't always believe your thoughts. And then sometimes the best way to deal with negative self-talk is by challenging those statements. And once again, I think that ties in with embracing the self-doubt, because this is a negative thought. And also it could tie in with the practicing self-compassion as well. Negative thoughts, you've got to challenge. And you might learn that being a little anxious or making a few mistakes isn't as bad as you thought. And each time that you move forward, you will gain more confidence in yourself because you are beating the negative thoughts. You are proving yourself wrong because you are thinking of these negative thoughts, and it's down to you if you want to listen to them. So at the moment in time, how do you deal with your negative thoughts? Do you listen to them? So I'm going to run through the 5 tips once again. So we've got stop comparing yourself to others, first of all. Taking care of your body. Practicing self-compassion. Embrace self-doubt. And perform behavioural experiments. So they are the 5 habits that are going to help you build your self-confidence. And put them to the test. I would love, as a fellow millennial, to hear how you were getting on with them. And which one of the 5 habits worked really well for you. Or if any of the 5 habits you're really struggling with. And head over to my Instagram at Millennial Motivation Podcast, or drop me an email at millennialmotivationpodcast@hotmail.com and let me know which one of the 5 habits worked really well for you. And once again, great article by Amy Marin. Thank you very much for sharing the article. And guys, remember, get your habits and routines working towards your dreams. And I'll see you in the next episode. See you later. Thank you for listening to the Millennial Motivation Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you could head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show, as well as leave us a rating, that would be amazing. And if you have any questions, head over to Instagram at Millennial Motivation Podcast and drop me a DM.